Hey everybody, it's Miss Crystal from the Dickinson County Library, and it's Wednesday, so we have another fun Wednesday Read Aloud. This week we're going to be reading It's Raining Bats and Frogs, written by Rebecca Colby and illustrated by Stephen Henry. And this book was published by Fievel and Friends, which is an imprint of Macmillan, so I want to thank Macmillan for allowing us to read this book online. It's Raining Bats and Frogs. Every year, Delia looked forward to flying in the witch parade. This year was no different, despite the black clouds hovering overhead. "I think it's going to rain," said Delia. It did rain. Hard. The witches were wet and miserable. "It's raining on our parade," wailed one. "Positively pouring buckets," moaned another. That gave Delia an idea. Delia whipped out her wand and she began to chant. "It's raining, it's pouring, but raindrops are boring. Change the rainfall on my head, make it cats and dogs instead." The witches were thrilled at first. Then the parade came to an abrupt halt. "This will never do," said Delia, raising her wand a second time. "The raining and pouring may have been quite boring, but cats and dogs, they just don't work. They bark, they hiss and bark and go berserk. So change what's falling on my head, make it hats and clogs instead." The witches were overjoyed at first. Then the parade erupted into a free-for-all. Delia sighed. "What a big to-do," she said, waving her wand again. "The raining and pouring may have been quite boring, but hats and clogs just have to go, inciting fights, creating woe. So change what's falling on my head, make it bats and frogs instead." The witches were ecstatic at first, but then the witches became even more wet and miserable than before. "What should we do now?" wondered Delia. Delia had run out of ideas. "Gnats and bogs," she mumbled to herself. "Mats and logs, rats and hogs." The more Delia thought about it, the more she realized there was only one thing to do. With that, she raised her wand one last time. The raining and pouring wasn't really boring, and bats and frogs just make a mess. They drop and plop and cause distress. So change what's falling on my head back to drops of rain instead. The witches were relieved. The parade soon proceeded, and the longer it rained, the more exciting the parade became. The floats began to float. The marching band learned synchronized swimming. And Delia and her friends tossed water balloons into the crowd. Everyone agreed it was the best parade ever. Until the year it snowed. That's our book for this week, and I want to thank Miss Emily for helping us make it rain in the library. We'll see you next time. Bye.